Hey, welcome again to JetBrains Plugin Developer Conference 2025. My name is Ivan, and I've joined JetBrains in 2010 and contributed to different teams, including Business Application Development and Idea Ultimate. I've joined the Marketplace team in its early stage in 2016 and took part in major transformations, including launching of paid plugins. That's me in one slide. Now let's jump to what actually matters, the ecosystem. Here's 2025 in numbers. We continue to welcome new plugin authors to the marketplace. We now crossed 10,000 authors who have published at least one plugin. And we had a notable uptick over the past year. This year, we also have seen significant number of new plugins. The marketplace now hosts over 11,000 plugins. That's an incredible amount of work from you. Thank you, folks. Together, those plugins reach more than 3 million unique downloads every month. Talking about the downloads, here are more specific numbers for some plugins that are already making money. Let's take a quick look at them. But you're familiar with some of those names. Overall, in 2025, paid plugins have seen total revenue increase of 13% compared to 2024, and 12% increase in the number of licenses sold. Note that we've excluded plugins that became free this year from this comparison to keep it meaningful. I'd like to remind that plugins matter to JetBrains products. Our products are rich out of the box, but plugins cover the long tail, frameworks, languages, themes, and localization, while Marketplace keeps the path from idea to install short. So how did we keep that path short this year? 2025 updates, the changes that went live for authors and users. Staying on the topic of paid plugins. This year, we've introduced a couple of long-awaited features for them. Perpetual license support, a one-time payment for a lifetime access to a plugin. But please note that only one paid license option is still available at the same time, either recurring or perpetual. Many of you decided to introduce a separate, often called lifetime version of your plugin to overcome this restriction. We also introduced an option to cancel continuity discounts. It still continues to apply to licenses purchased before the cancellation date, and it is disabled by default for the new plugins. Earlier, we asked vendors to indicate whether they are trader or non-trader. This year, to stay compliant, we introduced trader verification. It adds a bit of friction for authors, but it gives end users more trust, providing clear verified vendor details, and it keeps the marketplace aligned with regulations. Alongside, we've updated our Digital Services Act processes. If something on a plugin page looks inappropriate or harmful, users can report it directly. We triage reports with a predictable review flow and share outcomes in our transparency summary. We handled 670 reports in 2024 and over 1,000 in 2025. Thanks to our support team for handling the added compliance workload smoothly. We've improved work with the reviews. Sometimes plugins receive low scores because of some problems that have been fixed in later versions. Previously, the only option was to remove such reviews as inappropriate, and many believed that was not the right way to process them, because it hid them. You can now mark plugin reviews as resolved if they address issues that have been already fixed in current versions of your plugin. Once marked and approved by Marketplace team, the review stays visible but no longer affects your plugin rating. Also, since the beginning of this year, you also have access to the detailed reviews of your plugin features. Some users share their views about integration with IDE, performance, features, UI, or documentation of your plugin. And you can see this on the Review tab. We care a lot about plugin quality, and we are always looking for the ways to better check plugins. Last year, we received enthusiastic response to plugin testing, performance, UI, and functional testing session at JetBrains Plugin Developer Conference. We introduced extensive documentation about plugin testing strategies. And we also introduced automated check for the uploaded plugins. It results in an IDE run with the plugin installed, and we check that no major issues happen during this run. Another aspect of plugin verifications is the Plugin Verifier tool that many of you know, and that Robert will talk extensively later. The platform team is actively working on plugin model to improve plugin loading performance and improve dependencies management. Unfortunately, sometimes Plugin Verifier lags behind those changes, which leads to not so useful verification results. Also, some plugins use specific code that is hard to properly support in Plugin Verifier, which results in false positives. That's why we introduced option to ignore errors on Marketplace side. This makes verification results more reliable and allows us to proceed with them before the corresponding fixes arrive to the Plugin Verifier. Please bear in mind that we don't ignore problems on requests, but only after thorough investigation. We spent a big part of this year working on introduction of automations and heuristics to shorten response time for approval requests. Plugin authors receive quickly replies when we detect problems with our automated checks, both Plugin Verifier or the newly introduced IDE integration UI test that I mentioned earlier. All of this helps for authors to get a response faster so that they can fix their plugin and proceed with the upload. Also, it helped us significantly improve average plugin approval time, and now it's less than an hour for a new plugin version update. And some of you not only noticed that, but also shared this with us. All those improvements in verifications and approval processes also allow us to work better with different aspects of verification results. To make platform API stable, we'll continue work to eliminate internal API usages using our newly introduced abilities to work better with the verification results and have less false positives detected for your plugins. Another thing that those changes simplified for us is active work with verification results against upcoming IDE releases, which helps us detect that some problems with the new release would be faced earlier, and notify authors, or in cases when the plugin is abandoned and rarely updated, it helps us to limit its until build and not provide it further to the end users so that they don't have problems in their IDE. Useful resources about Marketplace changes are our platform, our blog about the platform, and also our documentation at the Marketplace. Thank you for your attention, and I give word to Jakub.
Okay, thank you very much, Ivan. The next short talk will be about, I hope, well-known IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin. The name is pretty long, but we made it longer with the 2.0 release last year to avoid confusion with the actual Gradle plugin, Gradle support plugin in IDE. Long story short, it didn't work, but the longer name is with us, and but it better reflects the actual state. So today I'm going to talk about changes we have done in 2025, and there were a lot of them. But first, what is IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin? As we explain its definition already. This is a plugin for the Gradle build system, which you use for creating plugins for JetBrains IDEs. Yeah, a lot of plugins names. The current version is 2.10.4, released on November the 2nd, so 3 days ago. Yeah, we are busy with that. And as you can see, we have around 500 commits pushed this year. Mostly about related to performance enhancements, because working with the IntelliJ platform, which is pretty huge, 1 to 2 gigabytes, requires some optimizations and changes to align the changes in the platform itself to make your life easier. That's why we try to improve developer experience here. And something that is coming this month, actually, Unified IntelliJ IDEA 2025.3, which means Unified IntelliJ Platform as well. Right. And during this presentation, we will cover this single IntelliJ IDEA distribution, some dependency helpers that were introduced during the year to make your development faster, more reliable, and so. Custom caching. This is really something I'm excited about. Isolated custom test task class path. This is boring and annoying, but we have to tell you what changed. Don't make you surprised. And problems API to make problems more visible, because everyone has problems. Yeah, IntelliJ IDEA unified distribution. This is probably we were publishing for many years IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate and Community editions. Those were 2 separated builds, one for free users, limited set of features, and the Ultimate was fully fledged IDE with support for all languages, almost all languages we could support, and frameworks, etc. So that was this one big IDE to rule everything. With the 2025.3 release cycle, we are no longer going to distribute IntelliJ Community, so IC code. Therefore, if you want to target this IntelliJ IDEA for plugin development to make your plugin available to all IDEs that we have, including Android Studio, which is Google's, you're supposed to use a shortened version of the helper, which is IntelliJ IDEA, instead of IntelliJ IDEA Community or IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate. If you are using the product code, do not use IC anymore because it's not there since this version, but IU will remain working because this new distribution also uses the same IEU codename. Same happened already for PyCharm. So starting with 2025.1, PyCharm community and professional distributions were merged. And same, PC, so PyCharm community, will no longer be distributed from now on, starting with 2025.3. And PyCharm professional, this code will remain the same in the unified distribution. So again, PyCharm helper instead of PyCharm community or PyCharm professional. Okay, but what's the difference for end users? Well, the unified IDE will be available for free with a possibility to pay for more features. So there is still some basic functionalities provided with in this unified IDE. But if you have a paid subscription, paid for yourself or through company license, or academy, university, you will get all the features. And how to distinguish if user is using this or that version? Well, now you build just one plugin, and while depending on the IntelliJ module's ultimate module, this plugin will not be loaded in a free instance. So it is also wise to use optional dependencies, like depends on to enable some features if you are providing some freemium plugin. More about the unified distribution of IntelliJ IDEA and PyCharm, you can read in a blog post I published on Monday. And here is the QR code and link. So basically, this is probably the first article in the JetBrains platform category on our blog. And that's about unified distributions. Let's dive into more technical details. Compatible plugin resolution. This is one of helpers that were introduced during the year. Dependency helper. What does that mean? Well, in Gradle, you are defining a dependencies block where you put dependencies on external libraries. And within this block, we have also this sub-block, let's say, IntelliJ Platform, which contains dependency helpers. So that's the name we use. One of those dependencies helper introduced this year is compatible plugin. And it is similar to plugin, which is used when you set a dependency on a plugin from Marketplace. It's not a bundle plugin, but plugin on Marketplace, JetBrains Marketplace. But when using the plugin helper, you're supposed to use plugin ID and exact version you are requesting. With compatible plugin, it's no longer necessary because under the hood, it is checking which IntelliJ platform you are using for building the project, and it requests Marketplace API to get the latest available plugin matching your build number and IntelliJ platform type, obviously. So this is a great feature to kind of make the process of development a bit easier. However, you're supposed to remember it is requesting the latest available plugin, which is not it's not a fixed version. So on your CI, if someone updates their plugin, you will get the latest version and something may be broken still. So your build will not be fully reproducible in time. But yeah, that's a trade-off. Another dependency helpers that we've introduced are exclude Kotlin stdlib and exclude coroutines. Those helpers are excluding Kotlin stdlib and coroutines. Why we have created that as additional helpers? Well, to avoid situations like you, when building your plugin, are depending on something from Maven Central, for example, that is also depending, that also has a transitive dependency on Kotlin coroutines, for example. But IntelliJ IDEA, IntelliJ Platform in general, so all our IDEs are already providing you with Kotlin coroutines and Kotlin stdlib. Therefore, bringing them with your plugin is first redundant. Second, it is creating a way bigger build that we are publishing to Marketplace and people have to download. And we are talking about, well, bigger numbers here, megabytes, not gigabytes for sure, but still. And in context of coroutines, things may simply get broken because when running your plugin in IDE runtime, so as end user, it is requesting some library, but you are providing the same library from in different version, or even the same version, but it's in different class paths, and well, we can end up with some clashes and weird exceptions in the user's console, users logs. Yeah, that would be three new things that we have introduced in terms of dependency helpers. And here is also something used in dependencies block, and I'm really happy that we managed to introduce this one. It is IntelliJ Platform Artifact Custom Cache. Well, why custom cache? Well, the reason is really simple for that. When you are depending on some dependencies from Maven Central or our IntelliJ Maven repositories, they are cached by Gradle in the Gradle cache. So it's downloaded, put in the .gradle directory in your user's home directory. But in terms of IntelliJ Platform artifacts, the thing is a bit more complex because we are not downloading jars from repository, but zip archives, for example, zip, tar.gz, or DMG for macOS. So they are downloaded by Gradle to your local cache. And then we are involving Gradle transformers to extract them to another cache directory, still within Gradle boundaries. Unfortunately, Gradle is running extractors, transformers, pretty often. It's not visible when you work with dependencies of regular libraries, which are 1-2 megabytes, but 1-2 gigabytes makes the difference. And Gradle runs this extractor transformer for you if, for example, your build setup is changed. And yeah, this is pretty annoying because Gradle cache can grow pretty fast. Unfortunately, we weren't able to optimize that in any reasonable way. And this is why the use cache was introduced here. So when defining a dependency on IntelliJ IDEA, you can open the closure and type use cache equals true. And on the screenshot, you can see that The IntelliJ Ultimate, IntelliJ Unified was extracted to .IntelliJ Platform.IDEs directory. And this is the default location. Next to this default approach, you can still configure the caching behavior. So using the top level IntelliJ Platform extension, so below dependencies, you can open caching IDEs blocks and define exact path where you want to store those extracted IDEs. So if you work on multiple projects, it's better to refer to your home directory, for example. You can enable it by default. So not only the main build configuration will rely on this cache, but also all custom tasks like run IDE, test IDE, Plugin Verifier will reuse the same location, the same cache. And the name parameter, well, this is obvious by default. It's just type -version. But in terms of EAP releases, which are changing in time, you can define some additional naming rule for this directory. So EAP cache will be invalidated daily, weekly, monthly. It's up to you. Yeah, and one last thing about dependencies block is module dependencies refactoring. This is a breaking change. Unfortunately, fortunately, we figure out that the plugin module version 2, which is not publicly announced, not documented yet, but it is still there. We are using heavily this mechanism, has some rules, and those rules should be soon default. That's why the plugin module dependency was renamed to something secondary called plugin composed module, and the plugin module is the new feature. But what's that? If you are working on multi-module project, so you have some core, you have some dependencies, shared module, if you are releasing, if your plugin is created in a way that you have this module for PHP Storm, this for some other dependency, this is already multi-module product. And those are supposed to be composed into one jar. That's why composed. You should use the plugin composed module. The plugin module, this is something we will announce next year, hopefully, and document it, share with you, and run more content materials about that. Yeah, another pretty important change. We've spotted during the year that if you create your plugin setup based on specific version, like 2025.2, for building the plugin, so it is still available for 2025.3 and up, it had a glitch where if creating custom tasks like custom test IDE task or custom run IDE task, the class path from the build setup was passed further to the custom tasks as it is, except the IntelliJ platform path. So eventually, when building the plugin, the class path of your project is composed of IntelliJ platform dependency, but also bundled plugins you are defining, you are declaring you want to use for development, external plugins, test framework, etc., etc. And this class path was passed as is, still to custom tasks, replacing just the IntelliJ platform. So eventually, the test custom IDE task was composed of IntelliJ Platform 2025.3, but also bundled plugin from 2025.2. The issues were annoying and pretty serious. So as a result of this change I'm talking about, we are no longer in the custom test ID, run ID tasks. We are no longer passing the whole setup from the base setup to custom class path. So when defining this test custom ID, you have only custom IntelliJ platform available. So to get everything working, you're supposed to have again defined bundle plugins, test framework, etc., etc. So for now, you will have to build this dependency set again. I hope with the next maybe 3.0 release, we will face some improvements in that matter, like what was the name? Testing suits from Gradle. If that will be stable enough, we'll start refactoring all the setups into that direction. Yes, and I was talking about problems we are trying to avoid, and here is a bit about problems we don't want to avoid but highlight to you. So whenever you run verify plugin task or verify plugin project configuration, which is run for you automatically, those tasks are reporting issues in logs. Like you are using outdated IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin, or your Java version is not correct comparing to the platform you're using, or some issues with since until build. Many possible issues are here possible. But they are logged in plain text in the console only. This year, during the Google Summer of Code, our contributor improved this situation. So now we are integrating with Problems API from Gradle. Still, it's not. It is a pretty incubating feature, but we are already trying to integrate with it and pass not only issues like single line issues to Gradle Problems API, but also solutions, links to documentation, and more valuable information about the problems themselves. So this is now enabled by default, and to get to see this generated by Gradle report, look in your logs for problems report. There will be a working local link to local file where you can incite all the issues that Gradle reported. And the small feature also released actually last week, and this is just useful for debugging. So when you run verify plugin, you can use this list IDEs switch. It will not run plugin verifier itself, but it will resolve all dependencies and show which versions will be used for running verifications and exact path of those. Yeah, but So I'm preventing from running Plugin Verifier. Sorry, Robert. Yeah, useful links. 3 links. First one is JetBrains Platform Forum. If you don't know it, this is the place we are gathering together to discuss plugin issues, new features, sharing knowledge. So this is a place to be. GitHub repository, so github.com/JetBrains/IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin. You can search there for new releases or contribute, I hope. And yeah, documentation of this particular project, the link is pretty short, jb.gg. EJPGP, so IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin, docs. Thank you. Now I would like to pass the stage to Robert.
Thank you, Jakub. That has been a huge list of contributions. I'm Robert, developer advocate and a part-time maintainer of the IntelliJ Plugin Verifier. What is the purpose of the IntelliJ Plugin Verifier? If I am a plugin author, basically I might have 2 questions. Will JetBrains Marketplace approve my plugin? And the second question is, will the plugin run correctly in the target user's IDE? The Plugin Verifier is another tool in the puzzle of IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin, JetBrains Marketplace, and IntelliJ SDK. It makes sure that the plugin descriptor is correct. That means if the mandatory values in the plugin XML are put in place, if the particular required values within the ranges are correct, if the since build and probably until build are properly composed, and many other semantic and syntactic information is checked. Furthermore, and more importantly, it checks whether the IntelliJ Platform API in the target IDE is accessible and available. Since the IntelliJ Platform SDK is constantly evolving, some methods might be introduced, some methods might be deprecated, some methods might be marked as scheduled for removal, and some functionality in the API landscape might become internal or experimental. So Plugin Verifier checks all of the things, and when everything is checked, we as a plugin authors might probably have seen such report as this one. This is the report from the JetBrains Marketplace for JWT plugin. And we can see that this plugin in version 0.19 is not very compatible with the IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate 2025.1.1.1 because there are 2 compatibility problems and 1 usage of scheduled for removal API. On the other hand, in the bottom, we see that this plugin is fully compatible with 2024.2.6, which is quite an old version of IDE now, but the plugin works there. This report, as I have said, is produced by the Plugin Verifier. So my job as a plugin author is to investigate those reports and try to address them. Because Plugin Verifier on the JetBrains Marketplace is a mandatory quality gate. Severe compatibility problems will prevent upload of the plugin. We are constantly reviewing all new uploads of plugin versions, and whenever we see that plugin might be problematic, in the worst case scenario, it might be even unlisted. One way how to check the plugin is to upload it to the JetBrains Marketplace, wait for the verification report, and investigate that in the browser. However, this might take quite a long time, and therefore the better solution would be to run the plugin verifier locally or within the CI/CD. This is one approach. However, even in the JetBrains Marketplace, the verification can be triggered and rerun manually. As I have said, there are two options, either to run it in the JetBrains Marketplace, but this might be complicated because it might involve a plugin version upload, waiting for our infrastructure to run the actual verifications, and to wait for the reports. For the local development, the better option, definitely, which I would heartfully recommend, is to integrate with the IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin and to run the verification locally. Or as an alternative, the Plugin Verifier is available as a standalone CLI tool that can be executed from the command line. So feel free to choose either one option, integration with the IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin, or the standalone CLI tool run. As I have said, I strongly recommend to integrate this option because it saves the round trip to the JetBrains Marketplace, and there is a better control when running this locally. The IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin integration is quite straightforward because Jakub is providing multiple extensions in this landscape. So this is the minimalistic but fully working scenario when the plugin built by Gradle on top of the IntelliJ Platform Gradle plugin will run the verification against set of recommended IDEs, and all of the verifications will be run locally, and reports will be also saved into the local file system as the set of HTML files. I won't be going too much into the depth of verification process because in May 2025, so a few months ago, we published a high-level overview webinar, Plugin Verifier and API Compatibility Maintenance, which shows the full scope of the tooling. And I fully recommend going over this because it shows exact scenarios of verification cases about integration with the IntelliJ Platform Gradle plugin and also integration with the JetBrains Marketplace. IntelliJ Plugin Verifier is open source. It is public, so it is available on GitHub. Contributions are welcome because there is a huge amount of work to be done. And Plugin Verifier is deeply integrated with JetBrains Marketplace and IntelliJ Platform Gradle plugin. Whenever a new functionality is proposed, we sit with the JetBrains Marketplace team and we sit with the IntelliJ Platform Gradle plugin team, and we coordinate our approaches. So the Plugin Verifier, which can be run locally, is usually the same version that is running on JetBrains Marketplace. Currently, the version is 1.397, which was released in October 28th, and there is one more version being uploaded any day now. There is quite an activity in this project, so it is not that at all. However, in the last 2 months, the major effort was devoted to the internals because the IDE distribution layout has dramatically changed. This doesn't impact plugin development much. However, this required many improvements behind the scenes and under the bonnet of the Plugin Verifier. We aim to support the V2 plugin model. As Jakub has mentioned, this is currently in the works, and it is slowly being documented to be used for the plugin developers. We use that extensively in the IntelliJ IDE layout already, but we had to add a Plugin Verifier to support that. There were many performance improvements, and there are many more on the roadmap because we are aware of the few issues that should be fixed, especially with the performance on the Windows. And most importantly, currently we are going through the list of false positives because there are lots of false positives now, and trying to see what can be implemented in the upcoming months. Because there were lots of false positives in the dependency check resolutions, some false positives in the API availability in the V2 modules, and we try to remove as many of them as possible because they confuse everybody. More details and documentations are in the IntelliJ SDK docs. I am actively monitoring the JetBrains platform forum, so whenever there are any questions in the area of Plugin Verifier or integration with the IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin, you are heartily welcome to join the forum, and I will be replying and handling relevant questions personally. And of course, as I have said, you can join the development at the GitHub open source repository. Thank you. That's all. Probably now it's time for a Q&A session.
You're right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Ivan, for your talks. And yeah, as you said, let's check if we have any questions about any of our talks.
I think we got one question, but I'm not able to answer it. So it's from Anshuma. And the question is how JetBrains IntelliJ IDEA plugins are deployed for interconnected Cloud Shell that can handle AI or ML file type API through its compatible Kotlin script function.
I'm not sure if I understand this question, to be fair.
Me too. I have to say, me too. So maybe, Anshuman, you can clarify a bit?
Okay, in the meantime, we have a new question. I feel from Mr. Toby, I feel the IntelliJ Gradle Platform plugin is very slow on Windows. Building takes much more time when on our CI. Yeah, any update on this? It is slower, and the reason for that is Windows. Windows file system. Well, we already noticed and we are aware that working with files on Windows, extracting them, reading files is way slower than on Linux or macOS. I'm not sure if, well, from Gradle, in Gradle part, there is not much we can do. Probably you can involve caching here to avoid re-extracting those IntelliJ Platform archives. But in so Robert, this will go to you. Do you think we can somehow optimize the plugin verifier, which is used internally by Gradle plugin?
Yeah, that's exactly the question I've been waiting for from your side. And this was the reason what I mentioned in the plugin verifier part. IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin and Plugin Verifier share a common library called IntelliJ Structure that is used to create a type-safe model of plugins. And we are aware that this library has a performance issue on Windows. As Jakub said, it is connected with the zip parsing and jar extractions. We are aware of this issue, and I'm not giving any promises because the issue is quite complex, but we will try to at least broadly address this and improve that. It is on our radar, and we are aware of that.
Okay, maybe we can continue since Robert is already talking. So there's a question from Roman. Does the verifier check for any infinity loops in the plugin?
Do we have any information what the infinity loop, like endless loops, like while loops that go infinitely? If this is the case, then no. As a plugin author, I can introduce a simple plugin that will create an infinite loop. Plugin Verifier will not check that because Plugin Verifier is targeted for the invocations of IntelliJ SDK APIs. However, I can imagine that this is the question. If my plugin can hang the IDE, there are other mechanisms internally and externally that check for the basic performance stuff and try to avoid that.
Yeah. I'd like to add that, as I mentioned, this year we provided integration with the UI tests that we run for every uploaded plugin. So if the plugin hangs the IDE, freezes it, we would detect it, and we would not approve such a plugin. But again, I should mention that it's just a simple check. It just runs the plugin, the IDE with the plugin installed.
Yes, in the JetBrains Marketplace, there are already at least 2 mechanisms to verify the plugin. One is the traditional one with the Plugin Verifier, but there is a newly introduced one with the gray IDE bubble next to the verification results that is handling the integration tests.
Okay, so I will go a bit quicker because we got quite some questions. So does anyone here have an insight into basically Compose UI for plugins? So the question is from Andre, and it's, are there any official or unofficial milestones for Compose UI for plugins? Probably Jacob would know most about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, that's the question. Yeah, there are some plans, unofficial so far, but we are heading this direction. In the IntelliJ Platform Gradle Plugin, there is already Compose UI helper dependency introduced to help you bringing all necessary Compose UI dependencies to the game. And yes, as for content materials and making it public, we are currently internally creating tests around that to make sure everything is working correctly and nothing is missing. Right now, something is missing, so we are filling those gaps. And as soon as we'll be ready, we will shout about that because this is really exciting.
Okay. Next question is from, unfortunately, I can't read it and I won't butcher the name, but the question is, should I declare a dependency to the ultimate module in the plugin XML when targeting PHP Storm? Or is it only about UI, IU or PyCharm? So basically, I think it's about the unified.
Yeah, it's about unified. Well, yeah, first of all, if you want to create plugin for PHP Storm and other IDEs, you're supposed to use unified distribution if targeting 2025.3 and up. And yes, depending on this ultimate module mentioned in the presentation, should make everything clear that user is using paid subscription, because this module is supposed to be enabled by default in PHP Storm, which is paid, right?
Okay. Going to the next question, we still have a minute or two, from Joachim. I'm not sure if this belongs here, but what's the new security verification section, in quotes, for a plugin update on the marketplace? I think that's maybe something that Ivan can say, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the Joachim is mentioning specifically, but we are introducing internal security checks for the plugins. I can share the exact details, exact specifics right now, but this is the thing that we are actively working on, because this is a very important thing. We are distributing lots of plugins to millions of users around the world, so we want to be sure that the plugins are secure.
Okay. Lovely. I hope that answers it. So we got another question from Marina, I think. Can you provide examples of syntax in buildgradle.kts for plugins that support both 2025.2 and 2025.3 using new functions like IntelliJ IDEs and compatible plugins raise errors?
So yeah, that's for me. So yes, I can. However, not here. Well, in chat, that would be pretty, terrible experience. Please raise a question in our forum. I will answer to you. Verify that first and answer to you right away.
Lovely.
So
And
platform.jetbrains.com.
yeah. So, and I think the last question is from Sali. Is there a sample repo that includes custom UI windows and code generation? I'm not sure we have that.
Custom UI windows, code generation. I'm not sure we have that.
No.
No.